It started with an email. A woman named Angela Diaz said she was being hunted, threatened, targeted by her husband's ex-fiancé. A woman so consumed by jealousy, she started answering Craigslist fantasy ads, sending strangers to Angela's doorstep. Angela said she was pregnant. She said she had cancer. She said she feared for her life. And the police? They believed every word. They arrested the ex. They ruined her name. They nearly sent her to prison. But the truth? Angela made up the whole thing. Welcome to GBR Life Transmissions. I'm your host, Caitlin, and you're listening to GBR Life of Crimes, where we explore not just what happened in crimes committed by women, but why they happened and the psychology behind them. Today, we're telling the story of a woman who didn't need a weapon to destroy someone's life. She used lies, manipulation, and a keyboard and almost got away with it. This is the case of Angela Diaz, the wife who faked it all. Angela Diaz grew up in Arizona. Not much is publicly known about her early childhood, and that silence kind of fits, because Angela has always been the type to perform the role she thought people wanted her to play. She presented herself as intelligent, composed, and put together. She worked in the legal field, which adds a chilling layer of irony here, and most who met her describe her as polite, gracious, and even graceful. But underneath that image was a pattern. Angela had a long history of telling elaborate lies, not little white lies, big ones. She faked illnesses, claimed pregnancies that never existed. She inserted herself into situations as the victim, and every crisis seemed to conveniently circle back to her. Even before the case, Angela had lied to employers, faked documents, and manipulated people with convincing emotional performances. But it wasn't until she met Ian Diaz that her lies became criminal. Angela met Ian, a U.S. Marshal, in 2015. At the time, Ian had just ended a messy engagement with a woman named Michelle Hadley. Their relationship had imploded, with arguments over property, money, and who owed what to whom. Angela stepped into the chaos fast. She and Ian married within weeks of meeting. She claimed she was pregnant almost immediately. And just like that, she inserted herself into Ian and Michelle's unresolved drama, not as a neutral party, but as a woman on a mission. Angela didn't just want to move from Ian's past, she wanted to erase it. Michelle wasn't just the ex, she was the threat. And Angela was going to eliminate that threat, one lie at a time. She began reporting to the police that she was being harassed. She said Michelle Hadley was stalking her, sending violent, explicit emails, responding to ads written as fantasies, and inviting strangers to Angela's home. Angela claimed she once had to hide in her garage from an intruder. She looked terrified. She told police that she was pregnant, that she had cancer, and that she feared for her unborn child. She presented printed emails, screenshots, and a story so vivid and disturbing, it sounded like something straight out of a thriller. And it was her mind. But the police, they believed her. Because Angela wasn't just any citizen. She was a federal agent's wife. She was married to someone inside the system. And that gave her story credibility. Michelle Hadley was arrested, then charged, and jailed for nearly 90 days. The media took off running. A narrative like this was irresistible. A scorned ex-fiancé, unhinged and obsessed. A beautiful, pregnant newlywed begging for protection. A love triangle turned violent. But what no one realized at the time was that Angela Diaz had written every single one of those emails herself. Angela created dozens of fake Gmail accounts. She wrote emails in Michelle's voice, mimicking her writing style, her grammar, even the tone of her previous messages. She used VPNs and hidden browsers to hide her IP addresses. She even sent herself emails, then replied to them from other fake accounts. building entire conversation threads to make it look authentic. It wasn't just digital either. Angela had medical paperwork, fake ultrasound reports, false claims about a high-risk pregnancy, even cancer diagnosis that she shared with family and friends. And that entire time, she blamed Michelle Hadley for everything. She didn't just lie, she performed. Eventually, the case started to fall apart. Investigators noticed inconsistencies. Emails sent at times when Michelle was in jail with no access to a phone or a computer. A deeper digital forensic review revealed the truth. The emails had been sent from Angela's own phone, her own Wi-Fi network, her devices. There was no cyberstalking, no ads, no attack plots. There was just Angela and the story she had carefully built to destroy another woman's life. So Michelle Hadley was released immediately. The charges were dropped, and in a rare move, the Orange County District's Attorney Office issued a formal public apology. Michelle had never sent a single email. She had been framed in one of the most elaborate digital hoaxes ever seen in a courtroom, which is why Angela Diaz was arrested shortly after in 2016, and she was charged with 10 felonies and 22 misdemeanors, including kidnapping, false imprisonment, and perjury. They had all the information. They had everything. So she took a plea deal in 2017 and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. But the case didn't stop there, like you thought it was about to. No, because in 2023, her husband, Ian, again, a former U.S. Marshal, was charged and convicted at the federal level for his role in the conspiracy. And he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for cyberstalking, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice. And therein lies the real plot twist. Because this wasn't a case of a husband blindly believing his wife. Ian was actively involved in framing his ex as well by creating fake email accounts as well. And he deleted digital evidence. He even lied under oath during a disposition. And when the truth came out, he wasn't just exposed, he was convicted. Because when they found this case, they thought it was just her, but evidence grew and found that he was also doing this. So he was convicted of conspiracy, cyberstalking, perjury, and obstruction of justice, which is why he received 10 years in prison. Either way, Angela didn't act out of passion, not on her end, because there was no emotional outburst. Her actions were strategic, calculated, cold. She designed a reality where she was the victim, where everyone else, the ex, the husband, the cops, the public, played their assigned roles. Angela wanted to be seen as the innocent mother-to-be, the target, and she played that part flawlessly because she wanted to, which is why psychologists might say that she displayed signs of fictitious disorder, more known as Munchausen, especially with her false medical claims, narcissistic traits, because she did crave that attention, control, and a sense of moral superiority. But then there's also the manipulative compulsion. She created chaos just so she could stand at the center of it, being admired for her strength. That's not normal. And Angela didn't just want in. She clearly wanted control. Control over a story that she created, control over perception that she created, and control over who got to be seen as the victim, which of course had to be her. But more importantly, she wanted to make sure that she had a villain, even if that meant destroying another woman's life. Angela was fine with that, as she had been time and time again in the past with all of her other lies and fake documents. How many other lives did Angela destroy? This has been GBRLIFE of Crimes, part of GBRLIFE Transmissions. I'm Caitlin, reminding you that understanding the darkness helps us appreciate the light. Join me next time as we uncover another case that challenges everything we thought we knew about the criminal mind.